Hey everybody, let's do some basics of PvP, shall we? So the very basics, let's start with add-ons. So these are some add-ons that you should get before you even think about playing PvP. They're incredibly useful. The first one is called Siege. Siege, you plug in the different pieces of siege equipment that you want, and when you talk to a siege merchant, it'll automatically buy that siege for you. Second one is Fast Ride. This one's a little bit more tricky to use. What it does is, as you're riding around on your mount, so you can see as I mount up, you'll see Rapid Maneuvers suddenly appears in my X slot. After I cast Rapid Maneuvers, it goes away from my X slot until I need to cast it again. This is really useful because you want to have Rapid Maneuvers, but you don't want to have to dedicate a whole slot to use it, right? So that's really important. The trick with this one, though, is that if it's on your bar and you enter combat, it'll stay on your bar. So you have to make sure that, when you mount, you cast it, and then when it comes, like as it ticks down, that you cast it again so that it stays off your bar. Another add-on that's really important is Papa Crown. What Papa Crown does is it puts a bigger icon above the crown's head, making him a little bit easier to follow. And the last one that I'll recommend for brand new players is this one, EXT Group Leader. What it does is it puts around your reticle in the center of the screen, it'll put additional little arrows that'll always point you to where Crown is. So if you're moving around and you lose sight of Crown, there'll be a red arrow on the left and it'll say that Crown's way over there, right? So it's a little bit easier to follow it in the chaos. All right, so some more basics. If you want to enter into Cyrodiil, if you want to come and play PvP in Cyrodiil, you press L on your keyboard. That's not L, that's L. So this is the Alliance War menu screen. It has two tabs up in the corner, Overview and Campaigns. So let's talk about campaigns first. So there's 4 different campaigns in Cyrodiil. There's 30-day standard, which is Vivec. So 30-day means that the campaign resets and gives rewards every 30 days. Standard means that they use champion points. So if you're really low on champion points, like maybe you're like 170 or 200, then Vivec probably, you'll have an innate disadvantage. 30-day non-standard or non-champ, this is Sotha-Sil. This is our home campaign. This is where we play. It doesn't use champion points. Below level 50, Kine, and 7-day standard, which is the same as the 30-day standard, but it has a 7-day cycle instead of a 30-day cycle. The advantage of Vivec is that it's often really full. You can see here that these are the population bars. They show the 3 different factions with how much population they have. So if we look at Vivec, right, it's got 233, but in Sotha-Sil, it's 111. So you can see like how Vivec is the most popular. Absolutely. So to make a campaign your home campaign, you can see here it says home. You right click and then you select set home, right, home. Only your home campaign will yield rewards. So when a campaign finishes and it gives out rewards to everybody, only your home campaign counts. So make sure you choose wisely. Sotha-Sil's the best. I think that's about it for this. You can see here, right, lots of guild members. I don't have a lot of guild members in like below 50, right? Excellent. Overview. So here there's 3 tabs, scoring, bonuses, and emperor. So for scoring, every 60 minutes, the game decides, based on the keeps, the outposts, the resources, and the scrolls, how many points that your faction will earn. So you can see here that yellow is, they just captured something. So at the end of this hour, they will score 98 points if the hour were to end right now. And we're only going to score about 85, and this is the total score for the campaign. So right now we're winning. We're about 3,000 points ahead. And so if we win a campaign, we get extra bonus rewards sent to us in the mail. In addition, you can see this end of campaign reward tier. This here it starts at 0 and it goes to 1, 2, and 3. 3 is the highest. So if you're out in Cyrodiil and you're earning alliance points, this will slowly increase to a maximum of 3. And then when the campaign ends, you'll get rewards based on if your faction won and your personal tier. Bonuses. This is a large list of different passives, different bonuses that you will get while you're in Cyrodiil, contingent on the state of the map, like who controls what kinds of things, as well as population. So here, you can see here, if you control all of your home keeps, and so your home keeps are all the keeps that are in this little starting area here. So there's this keep, this keep, this keep, as well as these 2 keeps here. If you control all of your own home keeps, then you get a bonus, increased experience, alliance points, and gold, right? You get bonuses for owning some of your enemy keeps. You get bonuses for controlling keeps on the outskirts, having scrolls, enemy scrolls, your own scrolls, having emperor, all this good stuff. As a rule of thumb, the further you are ahead, like the more of the map that your faction controls, the more of a bonus you get. So advantage certainly goes to those that control more of the map. It's one of the reasons that we want to go out and control the enemy, or control enemy territory. Emperor, so this is, if you'll see in the middle of the map here, there's this ring of keeps on the outside, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If one faction controls all 6 of these keeps, that faction gets an emperor. Now, the emperor is decided by which single individual player has the most alliance points in that faction. So right now, if blue were to take all control of all 6 of these keeps, Flames of Hades or at Trollton 24 would become emperor. And being emperor is kind of crazy. You get a lot of huge passive bonuses like bonus recovery, your siege does extra damage, etc. So having an emperor on your faction is very useful. So the way that right now there's no emperor, so your faction, your team will lose emperor if either you control none of these 6 keeps, or if an enemy takes control of all 6. So I mean those 2 kind of overlap, right? And that's how you lose emperor. So right now there is no emperor because it looks like blue was probably pushed off all of the keeps, but not another team controlled all 6. So right now there's no emperor. So I'm sure a lot of the fighting in Cyrodiil right now is focused around this central location, as it usually is. In addition, there's also a whole set of skills that are specific to the Alliance War. They work outside of Cyrodiil, of course, but they're, especially the passives, some of them only specifically work when you're in a PvP location. For example, reduces the time it takes to resurrect another player by 30% while you're in a PvP arena. This includes, the sewer, the city, Cyrodiil, as well as battlegrounds. So make sure that you don't neglect these. Lots of really good passives here. So to enter Cyrodiil, if we go to campaigns, you click on the campaign that you want. You might want to set Sotha-Sil to your home, and then I'm in it already, but if you right click, it should say enter campaign, and then you'll get it'll tell you when it's ready, and you get another prompt, and then you click it and then you enter. When you first enter Cyrodiil, you'll either appear here, or if it's your first time, you'll appear all the way back at this large door right here. There is an intro quest, which it's recommended that you do, just to get it out of the way. But then once you're actually here, there is a few things to consider. Once you finish the introductory quest, these boards here, you see they're Warfront mission boards. These give daily quests. And if I look in my journal, let's turn that off. But if I look at my journal under Cyrodiil, these are all the different quests that I have. And so they're quite simple, right? Kill enemy Templars, kill 20 enemy Templars, capture certain keeps, capture certain resources, capture 3 towns, etc. And then when they're finished, you come back here, you cash them in, and then you pick up another one. So they'll constantly, as soon as you finish one and cash it in, you can pick up a new one. And they're also shareable, so you'll see players will share them. The only way to leave Cyrodiil is through these way shrines. You cannot travel normally in Cyrodiil using way shrines. These are only used to exit. And there's 2. They're at Southern High Rock, which is one of our bases, and Northern High Rock, which is also the other one of our bases. If you want to travel within Cyrodiil, then you have to use these transit shrines. So here I'm just going to do a quick travel. So here I am at Southern High Rock, and so Southern High Rock has these bounty boards. That's the thing that's unique about it. And we're going to travel all the way to Northern High Rock, and I'll show you the unique features that Northern High Rock has as well. Northern High Rock has the only banker that you'll find in Cyrodiil proper. There is another banker in the Imperial City sewer when you get there, but in Cyrodiil proper, there's only one banker. You can find like other things like crafting stations, general goods merchants, taverns, right? All these normal things, stable masters, right? Enchant, like everything is normal like it would be a normal town, but there's a single banker anywhere else. And here he is right here. This is in Northern High Rock. He's the one banker. So when you come into Cyrodiil, you have to come prepared. There's also a bunch of other merchants that are sort of scattered around that gives, special kinds of items for sale that you can only buy in Cyrodiil. So it's worth the time to sort of kind of explore and talk to different people and see what's going and see what kinds of items you can buy. There's also a merchant that only appears on the weekend called the Gold Merchant. In Discord in the Foxbot channel, if you type !golden, then it'll give you like a list of what things are for sale that particular weekend. So let's talk about the most important merchant of all, which is the Siege Merchant. Siege merchants are located everywhere. You find them in keeps. You find them here at Northern and Southern High Rock. You can find them at resources. You can find them in towns. So keep your eye out because it's good to know where they are in case you need to stock upon siege. So the Siege Merchant sells your siege equipment. And we're going to have a whole separate tutorial about siege equipment, but make sure that you familiarize yourself with their location and that you have that add-on, Zero Siege, so you can automatically purchase. You don't have to go through your inventory every time and click around and see what's going on. Also, the Cyrodiil has its own special currency called Alliance Points. You earn Alliance Points from doing practically everything in Cyrodiil, killing enemy players, capturing resources, capturing towns, killing ads, right? All different kinds of things will earn you Alliance Points. You can use your Alliance Points to buy Siege. You can also use it to spend it on different kinds of items from different merchants, but I mean, that's something that you can explore sort of on your own. Take your time, have a look around, and see what there is for offer. So let's talk about Transitus lines. So as you can see, right now we control just kind of this little corner of the map, and you can see these green lines that connect these different keeps. These green lines mean or indicate that we can teleport using these Transitus shrines to any keep that's connected with this green line. You'll see here this little town. You cannot use a Transitus shrine to travel to this town. There's also one down in this corner, and there's one over here as well. But you cannot use these Transitus shrines to teleport to them. The only way that you can get to these shrines or these little towns is if you die and respawn there. That's called blood porting. You can also blood port to any keep that has been cut off. So when I say cut off, what I mean is, let's say that an enemy faction were to come here and they were to quote unquote flag this keep right here, Fort Ayleswell. What flagging means is when a keep gets to any part of it, like the outer wall, inner wall, doesn't matter, but when a part of the keep gets to 50% or below, it becomes flagged. That gives a special animation here. Perfect example. This keep right here is flagged. So when a keep is flagged, obviously when you look at the map, you can tell that someone's attacking this. But more importantly, you cannot teleport there using way shrines. You cannot respawn there after you've died. You can't use recall stones to get there. The only way to get to this keep now is to go on foot, and in addition, it'll also break the Transitus lines. So if the same thing happened to us over here, if this was flagged, then this line would be broken, which means we couldn't teleport to Bleakers either. So enemy factions will do certain, like one technique that we use often is we'll send one team down to Fort Ash and they'll lay in wait outside, while another team will leave rails, go south to Nickel, will flag Nickel and then attack Ash, and we'll fall back and as a group attack Ash. So anyone that dies or anyone that wants to port to Ash has to go either all the way back here. It gives us an extra like 2 minutes to break into a keep. So, and then yes, of course, the last way that you really can move around is with recall stones. So keep recall stones if you're away from a friendly controlled territory. Like if you're away from a keep or resources and everything, you can use them to teleport as if you were blood porting. so you can use them to great effect strategically. So usually you get these just from rewards of the worthy, which is you get rewards in the mail for PvPing. You get rewards in the mail. Let's see if I have any actually right now. I doubt it. Maybe I do. Oh yeah, so you get rewards of the worthy, and sometimes you also, here's a perfect example, you'll get a recall stone. So, I mean, just because I'm here, rewards of the worthy, they're just these little coffers. When you open them up, you'll get these uncracked transmutation geodes. I mean, I'm not going to explain what transmutation geodes are, and also like some PvP gear as well. All right. So Northern and Southern High Rock are protected with natural barriers that are impassable. It's kind of difficult to see on the map here, but you cannot on foot travel anywhere outside of this sort of area. The only way to get in and out of any of these bases is through these gates. Each gate is properly named, and it's also correspondent with the scroll and this temple that the scroll is held in. The only way that this gate will open for enemies, friendlies can pass through it, but for enemies they will have to control these two keeps, and then this gate will open, and then they can come in and take our scroll and leave. We saw earlier in the scoring section that scrolls give lots of points, and we also saw that they also give different bonuses for controlling them. Each team has 2 different colored scrolls. You can tell which faction it belongs to by the color of the handle. Here you can see a blue handle, and if I go all the way over here, you'll see the red handles, and then there's 2 different kinds by the color. There's an offensive scroll and a defensive scroll, and you can read through those bonuses to tell what other kinds of, or what kinds of bonuses they give. So we talked about these gates. Here, these are our home keeps. I believe we touched on that briefly, so controlling these keeps is more important. The 3 keeps that are close to the enemy base are much larger and a lot more easily defended than the keeps on the outside. We also have here these small little keeps. I do believe they're going to be adding more in the future, but these small little guys, they don't have, you can see here on the map, there's this outer wall around the outside and the keep on the inside. These guys don't have an outer wall, so they pass hands a lot more quickly, and they sort of act as like an intermediate, like a middle. Ooh, we just captured this. How excellent is that? There's also dells and dolmens in Cyrodiil as well. They function just like they do in the overworld. The only difference is that if you kill a delve boss, you get a buff called Blessing of War, which gives you 20% bonus AP. And if you defeat a dolmen, there's a chance from the chest that you'll loot Coldfire siege equipment, which is the best siege equipment that you can get. So they're definitely worth getting. And then we'll also explore these little towns. These little towns have 3 flags. So the advantage of controlling these is that when you die, you can respawn here. So let's say that we're fighting here. It gives us a chance to respawn here and perhaps make a different kind of movements or something on the map. So controlling them is also good and important, but not crucial. Every keep has 3 resources that surround it: a mine, a farm, and a lumber mill. If I click on this keep, it'll bring up some information about the 3 different resources as well as the keep. So each resource is directly tied to a particular quality of the keep. So here you can see here, level 1, more siege weapons can be placed in defense of this keep. So if you control the wood, over time, it'll level up to level 2 from 0 to 2, and it gives bonuses. So here you can see what the level 1 bonuses are, right? Doors get more HP. Doors will regenerate HP when not in combat, right? You can see that each thing gives unique bonuses. So for food, they're directly tied to the adds, right? Melee guards will gain more powerful versions of some of their abilities, right? And the mine is directly associated with the walls. So like doors, wooden doors, right? The food for the people and ore for the walls. And overall, they will level up to level 2 over time. And if an enemy takes them, they'll slowly decrease over time. So in long, drawn-out fights, sometimes we take the resources so that the keep will be weaker by the time we get to the inside, so we can take them a little bit faster. It's also like sometimes small teams will take them ahead of time, right? So you can see blue right now is probably taking this farm, but blue has also taken this farm. So over time, right? Oh, looks like there was some action surrounding the wood as well, right? See, it's slowly deteriorating. Interesting. I mean, should be the food that's deteriorating. It is deteriorating. You can see it. But I wonder why that's deteriorating and this one isn't. Strange. It's probably just a bug. Excellent. So there's also little towns. You can see these little towns. These little towns will have daily quests, or they have these little quests that you can do that give you little bits of gold and AP and little reward packages. They're not generally very rewarding. Like, they don't give you a lot of rewards, but some people like to do them, and that's that's cool. And then right here in the center is the Imperial City, and underneath it is the Imperial City sewer. And this right here, right beside it, is the entrance. So you have to come in here to get to the city and the sewer, but I'll give you a preview of that when we actually get there. So here we've just arrived at one of the larger home keeps that we have. This is Fort Glademist. So again, the rails, these three primary keeps in this little triangle here, the ones that are responsible for keeping these gates closed, they're quite a bit larger on the inside and outside than the other keeps. So we've just arrived at the Transitor Shrine. The Siege Merchant is right beside the Transitor Shrine in this keep. It has a large upstairs, so there are stairs over here that will go up, and you can explore all the way up there. Each keep also has two flags. It has a back flag and a front flag. It also has 3 doors that you can break down. These are the only ways you can get into a keep. So they have these small little doors on the side. These are the postern doors. It has a front door at the front, and it has an opposite postern door. And then at the front, it has the front flag. So if enemies come and stand on this flag, it'll slowly turn from blue and to their color, yellow or red, and then that's how they take control of a keep. The courtyard is also quite large and spacious. It has an outer wall around the outside. It also has a gatehouse door, which enemies can also break down. And most of these walls are destructible. Where it's big and like a 2-story building, they're not destructible. But here you can see keep walls at 100%. And they also have little doors along the outside as well that only friendlies can access. So yellows can't just walk into this. They would have to break down one of these walls before they could enter. And then let's go just have a little quick look at one of the resources. So here we're going to go have a look at the lumber mill. The resources themselves are all identical. There's not a difference between them in terms of like when you get here what they actually look like. So the resources so this is a friendly controlled one. So if this was an enemy controlled resource, all of these ads would be hostile towards us. And it's the same kind of thing. You have to come stand on this flag and slowly turn it from blue or from yellow to blue or whatever, so that your faction can take control of it. There's also generally siege merchants at resources as well. So you don't have to wait to get to a keep to re-up on siege. You can just talk to a siege merchant and you're good to go. So here we are at a standard keep. So the standard keeps are all the ones that are in the middle, and then all the ones that are on the extremities. So there's this one out here, this one out here, and then this one out here. So these keeps in this sort of this triangle, right? All these keeps, these all look the same. They're quite a bit smaller on the inside. They still have a front flag, a back flag, a Transitor Shrine, but and as well as a front door, as well as the 2 postern doors. And the Siege Merchant is always at the back left. He's always in the same spot. Just like for the big keeps, he's always by the Transitor Shrine, and the small keeps, he's always by the keep here. It also has quite a bit of a smaller upstairs. It's just open, and it's on the same level as all these towers over here. It has a similar courtyard, but it's quite a bit smaller. It also has doors that you can exit through the side, as well as front doors too. So yeah, I mean, most of the fighting that you'll do will take place in keeps like this, so make sure that you go around and have a look. There's the center of the map over there. No, that's a dolmen over there. That's a resource up there, right? It's awesome. So here we are at one of the smaller keeps. There's only 3 right now. One's flagged, but I believe that in the next patch they're going to be adding a couple more. I don't know fully where they're going to be, but I do remember reading that. On the inside, they're identical as the other keeps. The only difference is that when you go outside, there's no outer wall. So they're quite easy to take, right? An enemy doesn't have to break through 2 sets of defenses. They can roll right up to here, break this down, and take it. It also does not have any resources surrounding it. So if you click on it, come on now. I guess you can't click on it because there's no information. They're always consistently the same because they have no resources. This is another kind of structure that you find out in Cyrodiil. These are gates, or we call them gates. They're not like the gates that hold back the scrolls, that hold back our home like sort of bases. These gates are found in the middle of different like kind of choke points. You can see here there's this mountain range, and then right here is this gate. There's also some, like there's one that's right down here. We call this one the Ash Gate. There's also a gate right here, and then there's structures that are similar to gates, but they're bridges. Instead of choke points created by mountains, they're created by water with slaughterfish inside. So here, there's a bridge. I'm not going to go show you the bridge specifically in this video because there's not really that many on DC's side. They're only really found along here. But the principle is the same. They're using natural terrain, impassable terrain, and then a structure to create a choke point. So this is like a red defensible position. So when they come through, so if I want to move through here, if I want to go from this blue territory over to this yellow keep, I have to literally go through this tiny little choke point. So you can imagine how easy it is for an enemy faction to defend, especially when on their side they have these structures, these wooden structures, which lead them up onto the 2nd and the 3rd floor, and they get a chance to maybe set up some siege equipment and to hold an enemy army back. We have to pass through that little choke, right? So that's basically what they are, is just defensible positions. In a patch coming up, these will be destructible, and I have no idea how it's going to work, but that's also something that will be true after this video has been made. Another important thing that I would like to point out is when you're crouched and hidden in Cyrodiil, you're invisible. Enemies can't see you. They have to show that you're detected before they can see you. The only exceptions are there's a couple skills that you can use to reveal hidden enemies, but again, on your screen, the little eye will open and it'll say detected. And that enemy NPCs have significantly larger detection radiuses than they do in the overworld. Like, for example, see how far away I am from this? Oh no, this is a friendly resource. Shit. Well, the detection radius is significantly larger. There's going to be some ads right down here. It's quite large. Oops, here's some yellows. Let's see if they see me. They do. That's okay, I want to die anyway. Good tutorial, Maz. So here's an example of me dying, and then I can resurrect here. This is a broken line, right? There's no line that connects these keeps if I look on my map, right? However, because I'm dead, I can resurrect at any friendly keep. It's called blood porting. So here we are at the entrance to the Imperial City Sewer. It's a little pipe, and it's located right here on the outside. When we go in this door, we're brought to the Imperial City Sewer. And you have to go into the sewer, if you want to get up to the city. Inside the Imperial City Sewer and the Imperial City, there's another unique currency called Telvar. Most people farm Telvar to get Hakaijo enchanting. It's like a crafting material that is used to make this special tri-stat enchantment that gives magic stamina and health. So that's primarily what people use it for. Another good thing that you can use Telvar to buy is alchemy reagents. But there's lots of stuff, and feel free to check it out. There's also like daily quests and other kinds of kinds of things to do. There's another banker. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner at the mini-map, there is a banker in this northern section. This is, I guess, the second banker in Cyrodiil. And to get to the city, you have to go up these different ladders, which will bring you to different districts. If we look at the map, the sewer... Actually, let's look at the city first. So you use these ladders to get up into these different districts. Each district has some, like a major boss that you can fight to earn Telvar. It has a flag that you can take for Telvar as well. It has lots of little things, sky shards, etc. Lots of fun. But once you go up into the city, it's not as easy to come down. You have to go through these different sewer entrances. Every district, I believe, has one. But they won't bring you back here. They'll bring you to various places throughout the sewer. So the sewer, you can see, is branched into these 3 arms. Each faction sort of starts at the extremity of these arms, and they work their way towards the middle, where there's like a major boss fight. And it's lots of fun. There's also minor bosses along the way, as well as wandering bosses and ads and lots of different stuff. It's lots of fun. And also down here in the sewer, there is, a bunch of different merchants who will sell, various, stuff. So you can definitely come and have a look. To actually get into the sewer, you come through this door here, which is almost at the bottom. It's a little bit tricky to see. And to leave the sewer, you go through this the same way you came in, which is the furthest left extremity on the map. You can see very, very clearly that it's just, this little tip that sticks out. And when you leave the sewer, it'll bring you all the way back to northern or southern High Rock, all the way back to the beginning. Well, that's everything. I hope that you found this guide useful. I should be putting up a couple others, one on Siege, it's purely Siege, and then another on all the sort of advanced combat tactics that are useful and helpful. So, yeah. See you later.